2026 has made one terrifying thing perfectly clear. Cybersecurity? Yeah, it's no longer just some background IT issue handled by a guy in a dark basement somewhere. It's literally the invisible war woven right into almost every major story of the year. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're breaking down the architecture of the 2026 security crisis and examining a highly counterintuitive phenomenon that is putting all of us at risk. You see, the threats have mutated. They aren't just about stealing your passwords anymore. They are about dismantling the very foundation of our digital and physical lives. Now, you might be wondering, what happens when the very people entrusted to protect our most sensitive data are the exact ones leaving it completely exposed to the open internet? I mean, we all operate under this assumption that the institutions collecting our data are actively securing it, right? But what happens when the gatekeepers are the ones leaving the front door wide open? Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the massive DOJ breach, when government data fails. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this crisis, we have to look at the recent government initiative known as the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOJ, $340 million. Just let that sink in. That staggering number represents the social security numbers of almost every single living American, sitting out there entirely exposed. And look, we aren't talking about some super sophisticated hacking group cracking a genius encryption algorithm here. We're talking about wholesale data negligence at the absolute highest possible level. According to whistleblower allegations, DOJ uploaded a live copy of the entire Social Security database to an unsecured third-party server. So this wasn't necessarily a breach of a highly defended fortress, but rather an alleged administrative failure, one that placed the most sensitive identifying data of the American public onto a server without the basic necessary security protocols. Which brings us to Part 2, hacking the physical world, the escalation to destructive warfare. The landscape of hacking has fundamentally shifted, and it's taking a scary turn. We're moving away from the old era of digital crime. You know, stealing passwords, financial records, and social security numbers for a quick payday. Instead, we're entering a terrifying new era of destructive hybrid warfare. These threats have aggressively moved from the digital realm right into our physical reality. We're talking nation-state actors actively targeting physical infrastructure, resulting in the remote wiping of devices and the actual disruption of critical resources. These kinetic physical attacks, they are not hypothetical. They're happening right now. Nation-state hackers have targeted critical water infrastructure, causing massive water spills at a Norwegian dam and actively hitting treatment plants in Poland. Meanwhile, Iranian hackers infiltrated the U.S. medical tech company Stryker. And they didn't just snoop around or steal proprietary data. No, they remotely wiped tens of thousands of employee devices. This was a blatant act of retaliatory, destructive warfare, explicitly designed to paralyze a company's physical operations. And this brilliantly illustrates Part 3, supply chains under attack. No corporation is safe. If massive government agencies and critical infrastructure are vulnerable, you better believe the corporate world is entirely exposed. Take the hacking group known as Shiny Hunters. They didn't use some impossible zero-day exploit to get in. Nope, they used simple voice phishing. They literally just called up, pretended to be IT support, and tricked an employee. That simple human error allowed them to breach the back end of Instructure, the company behind the Canvas educational platform. The devastating result? 30 million student and staff records compromised, and Canvas login screens defaced right in the middle of school finals. I mean, talk about throwing the entire educational system into complete chaos. Just to prove how pervasive the 2026 attacks are across completely different industries, consider this rapid-fire list. OpenAI, literally one of the leading AI companies on Earth, was compromised because hackers snuck malware into foundational open-source supply chains like Aqua Security and Bitwarden. The FBI, they actually had their surveillance systems breached by Chinese spies, exposing the phone numbers of active federal wiretap targets. And toy giant Hasbro was hit so hard that their operations were shut down for weeks, delaying their corporate financials. Seriously, nobody's immune here. So the crucial point is Part 4, the identity paradox, the danger of absolute internet safety. In response to these unprecedented vulnerabilities, regulators are naturally pushing for more security. But that push has birthed a wildly counterintuitive phenomenon we call the identity paradox. Right now, there's a massive push for absolute internet safety. New Know Your Customer laws and age verification mandates are requiring everyday users to upload their driver's licenses, passports, and government IDs just to use basic internet services. The tragic irony here? These laws designed to keep us safe are inadvertently forcing us to hand over our most sensitive physical documents to companies that completely lack the basic cybersecurity to actually protect them. And here is the terrifying reality of that paradox. In just the last few months alone, over 2 million personal identity documents have been left entirely exposed to the open web. Guys, these aren't just passwords you can easily reset. We're talking high-resolution scans of passports and driver's licenses, actively leaking from everything from local hotel check-in apps to official UK visa services. It all boils down to this. The very systems designed to keep the internet safe are building massive, highly vulnerable databases of our identities. The push for safety is practically creating the ultimate centralized black market hunting ground for hackers. By forcing everyone to digitize their physical identity to access closed community apps, we're essentially taking our most secure assets and placing them directly in the crosshairs of destructive hybrid warfare. So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought. The next time a seemingly safe app, a new government portal, or an age verification service asks you to upload a photo of your passport or your ID, you have to deeply ponder, how secure are their servers really? In a year where global infrastructure and federal databases are being breached with alarming ease, what makes you think that one app can keep your identity safe? Stay informed, stay vigilant, and never stop questioning where your data is